So this is week 5, Wednesday, semester 2, quarter 3 for math 6. And so let's go ahead and go over some of the questions here. So for question number 1, it says Kesha is buying the juice at the store. She can get 48-ounce bottles for $12.12. So right here, this is going to tell you what your ratio proportionality is going to be. Okay, so you could put it on the table, please. I don't want it. Ratio proportionality is going to be ounces of juice over price or cost in dollars. Okay, so the first one is 48 ounce over $2.12, or a 64-ounce bottle for that. Which is a better buy? Okay, so obviously, if you want to know which one's a better buy, you will have to divide this. You want to go ahead and divide the ounces divided by cost, which will give you how much of the cost per ounce. Like for 1 ounce, how much would it be, right? And the ones with the smallest number there would obviously be the cheaper option, okay? So we're going to start off with this one right here. So 48 ounces is going to cost $2.12. So remember, you're going to move 2 decimals to the right, 2 decimals to the right. So essentially what you're doing is you're going to be dividing 212 divided by 4,800. Do you see that? So let me finish this, please. 212 times 2. And you could do the math on the side. Is going to give you 424. So when you subtract it, you're going to get 56, bring down the 0. Then you could put 212. I don't think it's going to work for 3 because then 3 will give you somewhere in the 600, so that's too big. So put 2 again. So then that is going to give you 424. So I'm actually going to go ahead and take a step back. I did this incorrectly. We want to put the cost on top divided by the ounces, which will give you the cost per ounce. So cost goes on top, ounces go on the bottom. So we have to redo that part. Let's go ahead and divide it backwards. Go back a little bit. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put $2.12 over 48. So essentially, how much money is in the cost for 1 ounce? So then I'm going to move 2 steps over to the right. So 2 steps to the right. So you're essentially dividing 4,800 equals 212. Okay, so then what we're going to do is, obviously this is too small. So I'm going to put a 0 here, which gives you a point. Well, 4,800 and 2120 is still too small. So then you're going to put another 0 here, which makes you put a 0 there. Okay. Now the number inside is big enough to divide. So I'm going to do 4,800, which is very close to 5,000. I know that 5,000 times 4 is going to give me 20,000. So this is 21,200, so it'll probably work. So then I'm going to do 4,800 times 4, which is going to give me 19,200. So put 4 here. 19,200, and if I go ahead and subtract that, it's going to give me a 0, 0, 0, and then it's just going to be 2,000, okay? Well, this 2,000 is not enough, so I'm going to put another 0 right here. 48 times 4, once again, I know is 19,200, and if I subtract that, that's going to give me an 100. So I can stop right there, okay? So if I take a look at this right here, if I did $2.12 divided by 40 ounces, it's gonna cost me 0.044. So this is essentially cents per ounce, okay? Now I have to go ahead and compare that with this one right here. So the price goes on the inside, the ounces go on the outside. 2 to the right, which means you have 2 right there, zeros. So 6,400 divided by 288. Notice that it's not enough to divide. So when I put a 0 right there, I had to put a dot, a decimal on top. And then that's still not enough. So I put a 0, but I had to put a 0 on top as well. So essentially you're dividing 288 divided by 6,400. So then what we're going to do is you're going to think about, well, 6,400. You need to be quiet, please, because I'm video recording here. Times what? This is pretty close to 7,000. I know 7,000 times 4 is 28. So let's try 4 here. So 6,400 times 4 is going to be 25,600. So then when I subtract, it's going to give me 3,200. Okay? Well, I forgot a 4 right there. Sorry, there's a 4 right there. And then I'm going to put another 0 down because it's not enough, which then is going to give me a 64 times what gives me 32. I know that 6,400 times 5 is going to give me 3,200. If I put 5 right there, it's going to give me 32,000, which is end up a 0. So for this one, it's going to cost you, so $2.88 divided by 64 ounces is 0.045 cents per ounce. So the question here asks you which one is going to give you a better price. And I would suggest that you just simply answer the question. It says, which is a better buy? And in which case you would say the 64 ounces or 48 ounces. For $2.12 is a better buy because you will be paying 0.044 per ounce. You will be paying 0.045 per ounce for the 68 ounces for $2.88. So something to that effect will be sufficient to answer this question, okay? So you just go back and answer the question. All right, let's go on to the next one. Number 2, a recipe for party mix uses 2-quart popcorn, 3 cups of salted peanuts, and 1.5 cup of cheese puffs, and is enough to serve 4 people. How many of each ingredient would you need if you want to serve 12 people? Okay. So 4 people to 12 people, right? From 4 people to 12 people, how are you getting from 4 to 12? What's the multiplier? You times it by what? You times it by 3, which means quarts of popcorn, you will have to multiply it by 3. So for 12 people, you would need 12 or 6 quarts, right? 6 quarts of popcorn times 3 is 9/4 cups of salted peanuts. 1 1/2. 1 1/2 is the same thing as 3/2 times 3, which is 9/2 cups of cheese, right? So your multiplier here is 3. So you just multiply everything by 3. So what does that mean? So to answer your question, in order to serve 12 people, I would need, remember, 2 quarts of popcorn times 3 is 6 quarts of popcorn. Remember, 3/4 times 3 is 9/4 cups of salted peanuts. And then you have 1 and 1/2. So 1 and 1/2 is 3/2, right? Because you change from a proper fraction to improper fraction. 3/2 times 3 is 9/2 cups of cheese. And that is your answer. Explain how scale factors has anything to do with this problem. You know the scale factor is what? To get from serving 4 people to 12 people, the multiplier or scale factor is 3, because 4 times 3 equals 12, right? So I would need to multiply 3 to the 2 quarts popcorn, which then gets 6, right? Multiply 3 to the 3/4 cups of salted peanuts, which then resulted in 9/4 cups, right? And multiplied 3 to the 1 and 1/2 cups of cheese, which then got you 9/2. Okay, so something to that effect will be sufficient. Does that make sense? Okay, next one. Use a ratio to convert measurement using dimension analysis. Decide which proportion is correct to convert 1800ths an hour. Okay. Seconds to hours. Now, you know these are the things you need to memorize. Okay. You know that 60 seconds equals 1 minute, right? You know that 60 minutes equals 1 hour, right? And you can actually convert this however you want. You could do 1 minute over to 60 seconds or 1 hour over 60 minutes. They're interchangeable. Do you see how you can flip them? Okay. So then I want you to take a look at this, see which one is correct. So then from here, what you need to do is, this is 18,000 seconds, right? Over 1, right? It's over 1 times. You see how seconds is right here on top? To cancel that seconds, you need the conversion to be on the bottom. The seconds need to be on the bottom. So that way you can cancel the top and bottom. Do you agree with that? Okay, so then I'm going to use this one right here. 60 seconds, right? It's on the bottom. 1 minute. Now the minute is on top. Do you see that? I still need to cancel the minute because I don't want minute. What do I want? I want hours to be on top, right? So I started with seconds on top. Eventually, I want hours on top. Okay, that's where I want to end, right? Anything in between, I just want to cancel it out. So the minute's on top. I also have this one right here. 60 minute equals an hour. So I'm gonna put 60 minute. Do you see how the minute's on the bottom? So I could just cancel it out over 1 hour. Okay. Now look, seconds cancel, minutes cancel. What are we left with on top? Hours. That's exactly what I want. So then what I want to do here is I want to do 1800 divided by 60. There's a 60 on the bottom and the bottom here. So then what I want to do is I have the 0 right here. I'm going to cancel that 0 right there. Do you see that? I have another 0 right here. Cancel that 0 right there. Okay. So then I have a 6 and 180. This 180 divided by 6, the 6 right here, is going to end up with this, let's see, 30, right? This 30 divided by this right here, the 6 right here, is going to end up with a 5. Do you see that? And you'll be able to do this just fine because 18,000 divided by 60 times 60 is the same thing as 18,000 divided by 3,600, right? 1, 2, 1, 2 cancel, right? 180 divided by 36 is going to give me a 5. And is that the 5 that I got right here? Yeah, same thing, right? Just checking. But then do you notice I also have a 60 right here on top? Or I'm sorry, no, that's not part of it. This is just a conversion. Okay, so this is separate. So let me just draw this right here so that way you know this is separate. Okay. So then what do I have left? I have 5 on top. Seconds cancel, minutes cancel, 5 hours. What's on the bottom? Nothing, it's just 1, right? So this is your answer. 5 hours. So which one looks like this? So I have 1 hour on top. So which one looks correct to you? 18,000, or no, because do you see how this one, the difference is that 3,600 is on top? 60 and 60 gives me 3,600, right? Where should the 3,600 be? On the bottom. Do you see that? So which one's correct? The first one is correct.
That's what I said.
I'm sorry, the second one, not the first one, the second one. This is the second one. This is the first one. That's the second one. The second one is correct, okay? And the reason why the second one is correct is because it needs to have 3,600 on the denominator. Okay, so for number 5A, a florist selling bouquet of carnation by using 4 white carnations for every 3 pink carnations. Okay, find the number of pink carnations in a bouquet with 16 carnations. So 4 white carnations for every 3 pink carnations. Find the number of pink carnation in a bouquet with 16 white carnations. So 16 white carnations is what you have, right? X is what you're trying to find. X equals what? The number of what? No, not just any carnations. What kind of carnations? No. Find the number of pink carnations. X is the number of pink carnations. 4 over 3 equals 16 over X when you cross multiply. 4X equals 48 when you divide it. 48 divided by 8 is 12. So your answer for this is going to be, go back to your question, in a bouquet of 16 white carnations. In bouquet of 16 white carnations, I will have 12 pink carnations. That's what you do, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, how many pink and white carnations are in a bouquet of 35 carnations? Okay, so this one, here we go. White goes on top. Pink goes, well, actually, so pink and white carnation, a bouquet of 35 carnations. Okay, so this one will be a little bit different, okay? So this one is gonna be the white plus pink carnation, okay? Over, and I'm just gonna use pink. You could technically use white as well, but I'm gonna use pink, okay? Pink plus white. From the last question here, do you see how there were 12 pink carnations, right? 12 pink carnations. What was your total? What was your total here? Total was 12 pink carnations plus 16 white carnations, right? So what's your total? 12 plus 16 is 18, right? Your total is going to be white plus pink, right? White plus pink is 18. This is from the last question. How many were pink? 12 was pink, correct? You got to use this ratio. Remember there was a question that we did? I don't remember how far it was, but there was a question where you had to add both of them together. Equals, now you go to the question. Once you have this part right here, Grayson, you can answer the question because the question asks you for a total of 35 carnations. 35 carnations imply that it is white plus pink equals 35, right? What? Hold on a second. How many pink and white carnations are in a bouquet of 35 carnations? I'm not. Oh, okay, I see. So I want to know how many pink and how many white. This one is just to figure out pink, okay? So then 35 plus 5 is 35, right? X is pink. So when the cross multiply, which is 18x, equals 12 times 35, which is 420. So then when you divide it by that, I didn't get a phone number. I wonder if maybe I shouldn't use this one. I wonder if it will be better if I use 4 white carnations and 3 pink carnations. So then the total in this case will be 7. Do you see that? So 7 on top, pink carnations is 3. X is right here. So then when I cross multiply this, 35 times 3 is 105 equals 7x. Okay, so X equals 15 pink carnations. Do you see that? Now you're going to do the same thing. I'm going to set it up again. So white plus pink over white this time because you need to know white, right? Because you have 2 question marks, right? White and pink is 7. White, we're not going to use 3 because we're going to use 4, right? Okay, equals 35 over x, right? Same thing, cross multiply, 7x equals 4 times 35, which is 140, divided, x equals 20. So in this case, you will use 15 pink carnations for 35 bouquet of carnations and 20 white carnations in a 35. And if you look at it, 15 plus 20 gives you 35, right? So you know your answer does add up to 35, okay?